Hello, welcome to another video by me, Alicia. Alicia Runs and Reads. Today I'm going to do a little book haul. I might be a little overexposed, but what are you going to do? Their sun is out and I want to be by my bookshelves. Anyway, we're going to do a little book haul. I have a pile here of books that I've recently purchased in the last couple of months. There's probably even more than that, but those are the ones that are in my book haul pile that I haven't put away yet. So we're gonna go through those. First, I have a classic, The Willows by Algernon Blackwood. And this, I love this cover. This is a classic horror book that we are going to be reading for the Horror Classics book club. And I'll link that down below, and the channel is involved in that down below. And this is a nice little short one we read during Gray last month, or this month, and I'm gonna be reading this. I have no idea what this is about. Let's see. I have no idea. It says, tension builds obliquely to an almost unbearable pitch, while the specifics of the horror itself remains ungraspable, abstract, and thus all the more terrifying. This is where slow burn horror originated. So I'm excited to get to that one. I've never read it or heard of it, so that'll be exciting. I purchased Woo Woo by Ella Baxter because I loved her book New Animal so much. I know this has something to do with art, and it says a thrilling and eccentric novel about what it means to make art as a woman and about the powerful forces of voyeurism, obsession, and online performance. So I'm sure this is going to be a time. New Animal was definitely a time. This is a literary fiction and I loved it so much, the New Animal one, so I'm sure I will enjoy that. I did succumb to peer pressure and I bought The Poet Empress. I love these edges, and I've heard really good things about this fantasy. I think it does have some romance in it. I think it is a fantasy romance, but I've also heard really good things just about the overall storyline, so I'm excited to get to that. It says, how to write a love poem for someone I hated so deeply, with every drop of blood in my veins. How to do it convincingly that even the ancestors believe it. Those were the questions I had to grapple with if I wanted to kill Taryn. Questions that had no easy answers, but I had to find them for both my own survival and the nation's, and I had to find them fast. So this is something about, there's concubines or being chosen to be a concubine for this guy, and I'm assuming it's enemies at first anyway to lovers, I don't know. And there's some sort of magic with poetry. That's all I know. I have Wretch by Eric LaRocca, which I have already read. I read the arc for this and I loved it so much I wanted to grab it, and I did. I got it on release day. I love this one so much. This is by Eric LaRocca, and they write a lot of kind of splatterpunk-esque, more gruesome horror. I would say this one is not that for the most part. It's a little bit more mild, but still horrific towards the end. It's about a man who loses his husband, and he goes to a support group, and then that leads to him meeting this guy who claims that he can give people one last moment with their loved one, and then it goes kind of off the rails at the end, and I really, really liked this. I gave this 5 stars. Yesterday, also a new release was Honeysuckle by Bar Friedman Tell. I have heard really good things about this as well. This is a dark fairy tale about a brother and sister who create a friend for the brother made out of plants. And I think there's themes of bodily autonomy in here, and feminism and that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to this one. I think everybody seems to be liking it that I've heard so far. I know Allie liked it, and I'm excited about it. I picked up the new publication of The Ha-Ha by Jennifer Dawson. This is an old book. It is about, I believe, a woman's experiences with depression and mental illness in an asylum, and it's based off this person's actual experiences too, so they actually have that lived experience. And this is famous for being the book that Sylvia Plath was reading when she killed herself, or when she was writing The Bell Jar, or both. I don't remember, but one of those. So that's going to be interesting. I have read The Bell Jar, but I think I might do a back-to-back reading. Maybe read this one and then The Bell Jar, reread The Bell Jar, coming up soon. And I really love this new publication of this. It's really pretty. Another Eric LaRocca, Burnt Sparrow. This is going to be a series of his, and I've heard some good things, and I really liked Wretch, so I wanted to pick this up as well. I really like this hardcover. I like these little hardcovers. They're so much easier to hold than the big ones. I'm not even really sure what this is about. We are always tender with our dead. The lives of those residing in the isolated town of Burnt Sparrow, New Hampshire are forever altered after 3 faceless entities arrive on Christmas morning to perform a brutal act of violence, a senseless tragedy that can never be undone. While the townspeople grieve their losses and grapple with the aftermath of the attack, the young teenage boy named Rupert Cromwell is forced to confront the painful realities of his family's situation. Once relationships become intertwined and more carnage ensues. As a result of the massacre, the town residents quickly learn that the true retribution is futile, cruelty is earned, and certain thresholds must never be crossed, no matter what. It says it's engrossing and atmospheric and devastating and unsettling. Sounds like the New Rock book. We'll see how I feel about that. From Aardvark this month, I got Spoiled Milk by Avery Curran. This is a sapphic book about a girls' school, I think, and then either there's an illness or something happens to these girls. The untimely death of a student at a girls' boarding school turns out to be the first in a haunting series of escalating supernatural events, a thrilling gothic debut about teenage repression, queer desire, and the everyday horror of coming of age. So I love a coming of age story, especially one about girlhood, because I was a girl once and I came of age, and also that's right around the age my daughter is. So I definitely like to bring my brain back to what it was like to be that age and to be trying to just figure yourself out, and how every day is just full of dramatics. And I also, from Aardvark, I picked up After the Fall. I wasn't sure about this one. Allie read it and she said it was kind of like cozy and cute, and I don't even know if that's what she said, but that's what I remembered. So I grabbed this. I think there's an alien invasion and the people of the Earth become pets instead of the people. It says a buddy comedy hidden inside an alien invasion story, and asks the important question, would humans really make great pets? So yeah, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but that intrigued me. Speculative science fiction of it all. Yeah, it says buddy comedy, so I guess the clincher with this is whether or not I enjoy the comedy. If I don't, then that'll probably be that for that book. I did get the new Tea Kingfisher from Book of the Month, Wolf Worm. I know this is bug horror in the Appalachian Mountains, North Carolina woods. Something darker than the devil stalks the North Carolina woods in Wolf Worm, a new gothic tale from the best-selling author Tea Kingfisher. It says, I saw the devil in those woods. So I know it follows a woman who's a scientific illustrator. I'm always interested in Tea Kingfisher, especially the horror, but her fantasy as well. Her retellings have been the ones that have hit not as hard for me, but the horror I generally will give 3 to 5 stars. I really, really liked them. And she is her writing is definitely comfort writing for me. I can just always count on her to be a good time. I picked up from Book of the Month as well, The Secret Life of Murderers' Wives. I don't usually pick up these kind of books from Book of the Month. I try not to pick up thrillery type books because I usually unhaul them, but this one just looked fun. It says, who better to catch a killer than those who have shared their lives with one? Beverly, Elsie, and Margot are not your average housewives. They are all wives of the convicted killers. During the sun-drenched summer of 1966, the 3 women form an unlikely friendship after the discoveries of their husbands' brutal crimes. 2 women whose husbands have done some bad murdery things and they try to solve crime. I don't know, but it sounded interesting, so I grabbed it. And I also think it was like the one new book, and I needed to add a book to add on other books that I wanted more, and that one sounded interesting. I also got the names because this is a lolly pick, right? Is that what they call them? Yeah, a lolly pick. I don't know if you could see that, probably not. For Book of the Month for this year, this was the only book that was nominated for their lolly that I hadn't already gotten. I've heard good things and it was free, so of course I picked it up. And then I ordered The Red Knot by Monique Asher. This is supposed to be a thriller, but I think it might be more of a literary thriller. I don't really know. I just really love the cover, and I had this on NetGalley and then I forgot to download it before it was archived, and I would like to read and actually get in a late review for it so that I don't have it on red on NetGalley, because I am nothing if not a good student, and I don't like having homework not turned in. So The Red Knot by Monique Asher. Let me see if I can. This was a long time ago. I know there's like missing person. It was blurred by Clay McLeod Chapman, so that's cool. On a tiny isolated island off the southern Alaskan coast, 3 girls have vanished without a trace, and Audra's close friend, the island's therapist, has been found murdered. A recent storm has severed all communication with the outside world, leaving Audra, the town's lead detective, trapped and at the head of a very personal case. Yeah, I don't know. We'll give it a try. has a nice cover. And then I have to remove you because I didn't realize you were on top of this book. Let's put this one on. And then I also picked up The Red Winter. This is a book club book for Step Into Steph. I think that's her YouTube channel name, her Patreon book club. So I grabbed this and I already read it and actually really, really enjoyed it. And I thought it was funny and endearing and a queer adventure fantasy, dark fantasy / somewhat horror story. And I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, so this is the main pile of books that I bought. Oh, this much. And I have another pile of books that I got used. So these were books I got used, mostly old classics from the library sale. And I want to read some more of these, or I've read them before, but I just love the old cover so much. So let me fix that. I grabbed Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I have yet to read Jane Eyre, but I do want to at some point. So I grabbed this copy of it. It's nothing special. I grabbed this copy of Mrs. Dalloway and other stuff in here too by Virginia Woolf because I just really loved the cover. I thought it was gorgeous. Most of these are either $1 or 50 cents. So I got The Marisol Investigation and The Stranger together because if you didn't know, I guess this is the original and then this one is written from more perspective of an Arab individual and this one is written by the colonist individual. It's the, I don't know. I don't really know because I haven't read them yet, but this is what I was told at the used bookstore when I bought them. They're like, oh, you should pick up The Marisol Investigation too and read them together. So I want to do that at some point. Another used book. I got this really old grungy copy of Frankenstein, but I just love these old copies. I do put them in a Ziploc baggie and stick them in my freezer for a couple of days to kill whatever yuckies might be in them. But yeah, this is a really old copy of Frankenstein, which I have not read yet. Or I've read, but I don't have a copy of. I grabbed a copy of The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Again, I love the cover. What year was this one published? This particular book, I think, was 1980. So, The Bell Jar, which I want to reread soon, so I can also read The Ha-Has. Slaughterhouse 5, which I've never read, I grabbed this old copy of. This is The Dark Labyrinth, but I was interested in it because I like the cover and I looked it up on Goodreads and it says the best book no one's ever read, so that got me curious. I got A Streetcar Named Desire. This is the this is like the movie cover, which you would think would be annoying, but it's not because it's so synonymous like together. And I was pretty obsessed with Tennessee Williams in high school. I had some English teachers that really turned me on to his plays, and I really loved A Streetcar Named Desire. My high school actually did the play at one point, and I thought they did a really good job, but could just be me. I grabbed Animal Farm. This is a really gross copy. Well, it's not horrible. My guess is it was for school, but it's an old copy. But I just really like the cover. Let's see, 1963. This was, this copy was published, but I just like the creepy animals on the cover. And I got The Fox, also for the cover. Most of these I'm just going to show you the covers because these vintagey books I just love. Although sometimes they do make me sneeze when I read them. This one is like, this is Dante's Inferno because I do want to read Dante's Inferno at some point, and this one has like annotations, and I just think it's kind of cool to see other people's annotations sometimes, as long as they don't interrupt the actual reading of the book, but I thought that was cool. Anyways, I'm sure there's more that I've bought, but those are the ones that I'm going to share with you for now. Well, I got this one recently too. It was The Goblin Emperor. This is primarily just a standalone, and it's an older book, and I thought it was interesting, sounded interesting. So 2014, so yeah, older. Not about a goblin who becomes emperor for some reason. Yeah, the dogs are barking, but I thought I would just combine the haul and unhaul together. So I'm just going to go through the books that I have in my unhaul pile for right now. I think there's a few more that I can add to this once I do my wrap up. Yeah, The Burning Girls, Definitely Better Now, are most likely going to go in my unhaul. And maybe I Medusa, but that one's so pretty I might just keep it on my shelves for a while. Could just like live here for a bit, see how we feel coexisting together in this space. We'll see if I want to keep it or if I want to get rid of it. But it is a little pretty. Anyway, these are unhauls. I'm unhauling Immortal Consequences. This was 2YA for me. I think I might have mentioned that in something. I'm unhauling Your Blood, My Bones, which was fine, but I don't need to keep it. I'm unhauling A Strange Sweet Song, which is also a YA fantasy that I read and was fine. I think I gave it 2.5 stars. I'm gonna unhaul that. I'm unhauling Let Us Descend. I enjoyed this. I read it. I don't feel the need to keep it on my shelves. Sadly, How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates is going away. I did not like this book. I gave it 2.5. A lot of people really like it, and there's a great cover on it, so I'm sure someone will be happy to get it either at the library book sale or at the little free library. I am unhauling both Scythe and Sparrow and Leather and Lark. I'm keeping Butcher and Blackbird because that was my favorite one. The other two were just okay. I don't feel the need to keep them. Butcher and Blackbird was a time, and everybody liked it, and then these two were just okay. It's more of the same, and I just don't think I needed more of it. My dogs are barking, so let's go this quick. The Center of Everything is a coming-of-age story that was fine. I think I might have even ended up DNFing it because it just wasn't into it. So, but the writing was fine, and I think I might have liked it at some point in my life. But when I was reading it, it wasn't into it, and it was an older book that I had gotten a long time ago. I just wanted to get rid of it. So, and then The Street Between the Pines is an indie author, a copy of an indie author book that I grabbed at a used bookstore, and it just wasn't for me. So I'm going to be unhauling this one as well. So that's my current pile of unhauls, and I'm going to keep them in this basket until I make sure that there's nobody who wants them, and then I will donate them to the library. All right, we're going to end this there. I hope you enjoyed this silly little book haul. I probably won't do these that often, but I just decided I had a big chunk that I didn't put away, so I might as well do a book haul. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me if there's anything here that I should prioritize in a comment down below. If you want to give me a little crown for the Goblin Emperor in the comments down below, I would appreciate it. Like, subscribe, do all those YouTubey things, and I will see you next time. Bye.